I'm James Mitchell, and I'd like to welcome you to the Weekly Oracle Outlook. In this video, I'll be doing a tarot card reading for the week starting July the 18th, 2016, so stay tuned. And here we are with the cards on the table, and the deck assisting me for this week's reading is the Thelema Tarot. It is by Renata Lechner, and it is published by Lo Scarabeo. And taking the deck in hand, I'm going to shuffle the cards, and I'm going to do as I do every week in these weekly general readings. I'm asking the question, what do we need to know for the week ahead? Asking for the information and the guidance that's going to be helpful to us so that we can have the best week possible. And as I'm shuffling the cards, I'm going to invite you to consider any thoughts, any feelings, any impressions that you get about the cards that show up in the reading for yourself, because that will help deepen the meaning of the reading for you individually. So I'm feeling ready to shuffle one more time. Now I'm going to cut the deck. Put the deck back together. And then I'm going to draw the top three cards. The first card is going to represent the beginning of the week, what we might need to know, consider, or do. Second card is going to be the same for the middle of the week. And then the last card is going to be the same rounding out the week. So these are the cards. And I'm going to start things off by looking at the card that's on the bottom of the deck first. So I'm turning the deck over. And the card I have here is the Seven of Cups. So this is going to be the foundation, the basis, or the theme for the week. So the Seven of Cups can usually come up when we are at a crossroads in life and we're faced with a number of choices or options. As you can see here, the figure is looking at 7 cups. So this just represents a number of choices and options that we are faced with, and we are needing to make some kind of decision. And we are feeling, chances are, overwhelmed, because some of us can be overwhelmed by the number of choices or decisions. You know, some of us can easily make decisions, but the more options that we have, the more we feel like we are kind of hampered in making a decision. So that's the Seven of Cups. It's like we have so many options, we may not know which is the best one to choose, or we may feel like we need to choose more than one or all of them. Basically, the Seven of Cups is asking you, if you are in that position, if you're faced with a number of choices, this card is asking you from an emotional standpoint, from a heart-centered place, asking yourself, what is it that you need most right now? And then this card, as advice, is asking us to focus on one thing. So for this week, the theme could be, like, you may want to be approaching a number of avenues or directions in life, or feeling like there may be a number of things that need your attention. Sometimes with the Seven of Cups, it says, like, if you approach things that way, you may scatter your energy. And so this card is asking you to just narrow it down to one choice and just make that choice. And then once you make that one choice, you focus on that one thing, you take action on that. So it's about narrowing things down to possibly one option, and then once you choose that option, then taking action on that choice. So that's the Seven of Cups from that perspective. From another perspective, this is a very spiritual and psychic card for me. So some of us watching this video may be feeling like we are embarking on exploring a new side of our spiritual nature, because the 7 is a number in numerology that represents our spiritual side, and with that, our spiritual growth and development. It could suggest that this is a time for some sort of solitary practice or pursuit. So a couple of things with this card, it could be like meditation is a solitary practice, and that's encouraged with the Seven of Cups. Could also be creative visualization. So it could be like visualizing what it is that you want for your life, and that may help you in terms of, you know, the action steps you need to take in terms of reaching that goal once you make that declaration and the decision on the thing that you want to accomplish and achieve. So you could visualize what it is that you like to see as an end result. And then you would say, okay, so that's my end result. That's my end picture. That's my end game. Then what are the steps I need to take to get me from where I am in this present moment, like she's sitting here in the present moment, from where I am in this present moment to where I want to be at the end. And then you just follow the steps one by one. So I'm seeing that as a possibility. Another thing with this card is, since we're talking about psychic phenomena, this could be a card of like paying attention to your dreams. If you are like me, when I started exploring my dreams, when I really got serious about it, it was as a result of having precognitive dreams. So as a result of me saying that, it could be somebody watching this video, could be having dreams or having visions of some kind, and they're a psychic nature and wanting to explore that. You're being encouraged to explore that if that is the case. You may be like me when I was going through the experience, asking the question, well, why is this happening to me? What do I do with this? You know, what's the point of it? Because I was exploring those as questions when I was having them repeatedly. I was asking the question like, well, what does this mean? Like, what am I supposed to do with this kind of information? And it just turned out the information or the guidance that I got from Spirit was, it was just getting me to acknowledge the fact that I had this intuitive or psychic ability at that time. So it could be, that could be the same for someone watching this video and asking the same kind of question. It could be just a matter of, it's time for you to acknowledge that this is a part of who you are. And then once you acknowledge it, then it will grow and develop. So I'm seeing that with the Seven of Cups. So from the spiritual side, it could be meditation, creative visualization, paying attention to your dreams. Your dreams may be offering you guidance this week. And also too, with that, then you could be exploring the idea of having psychic visions and seeing where that takes you. Now, in addition to that, and that could be information for the spiritual seeker or for the person who feels like they need to narrow their option or their focus, because I was hitting 2 points. This third point with the Seven of Cups is that sometimes for me, this card can represent, you know, needing to take a look at possible imbalances in your chakra system, because there are 7 cups here, and the 7 cups can represent the 7 chakras. The 7 main chakras. We have more than 7, but the 7 main chakras that are most familiar to most people. Could be like there may be a need to either clear your chakras or have them realigned or rebalanced. I'm seeing that kind of energy. And with that, I usually get a dual message with that. And along with that, then it could be a matter of also a need for detoxification, because I also see those. Now, as I felt like I was done, another message that I'm getting with the Seven of Cups is being mindful of what it is that you're hoping for, wishing for, fantasizing about, because this card can be about like daydreams, fantasies, you know, wishful thinking, having your head in the clouds. While it's nice to do all of that, it's also nice to make sure that you are still grounded in reality and you are taking practical steps to make your dreams come true. So that would be the final thing I'd want to say about the Seven of Cups. So that is going to be the card that represents our theme, our foundation, and the basis for the week. And now let's turn our attention to the cards for the week. So the card at the beginning of the week, we have the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so the Page of Pentacles represents a new learning stage of development. All pages represent something new and something being learned. This particular page is known as the student, the scholar, and the lifelong learner. So it could be for some of us, we are embarking on a new course of study, some new way of learning, some new resource, because Pentacles can also represent resources. So it could be a resource that's going to help educate us or inform us or teach us about something. If you are not embarking on a formal course of study, then the Page of Pentacles is just asking you to see the value of the experiences that are going to be coming to you at the beginning of the week, and come from it from a place, because the page is a court card, and all court cards for me can represent how we approach things. So approach the situation or the experience as it being something that is designed to teach you something, that you are going to be getting a valuable lesson from the experience that you wouldn't get any other way. Because whether you are in formal study or not, going with the energy of the Seven of Cups from a spiritual perspective, we are all on this planet to learn. In spiritual circles, we call the planet Earth the Earth School, and everyone who is alive on the planet is actually enrolled in the Earth School, and we are all students, and we are all following a particular curriculum. Going with the idea here with the Seven of Cups, and the 7 being the number of, solitude, or, self-awareness or personal insight, then it's designed that whatever path you are walking, every experience that you have is designed to teach you something. You're supposed to learn something from it, and it's designed for your spiritual growth and development. So at the beginning of the week, there may be a particular experience you have, and you're being asked to approach it from the standpoint of, what is this here to teach me? What is the lesson I'm supposed to be learning from having this experience? And that will be your takeaway. That will be what you get in terms of value. Now, Page of Pentacles for me, going along with what I said with the Seven of Cups about the spiritual side, the psychic side, exploring dreams and visions, things of that nature. The Page of Pentacles is a follow-up card that says it's about omens and premonitions. So the whole idea about like precognition, premonitions, psychic visions, things of that nature could be true for someone watching this video this week. So if you are exploring that, then this card is saying you need to follow up and maybe either learn more about that, just from other sources and other resources, or that you find yourself in a formal course of study that helps you learn more about that particular gift or ability. So I'm seeing that as the Page of Pentacles. I'm taking a step back and asking, what else do I need to say about that? The other thing about the Page of Pentacles for me is that it can represent news or messages. So after we look at the other 2 cards, I will draw a message card to see what more we might need to say about that. But summing up the Page of Pentacles, again, it's about approaching things at the beginning of the week from the mindset or from the standpoint of being a student, and that it's designed to teach you something, and ask the question, what's the lesson in this experience for me? What is this here to teach me? What am I supposed to be learning from it? And if that is not true, in terms of a particular course of study, than just from an experiential standpoint, because Pentacles are all about practically applying what it is that you know. So it could be like you've learned something and it's about time that you put it into action or you apply it to your life. It's not just about having the head knowledge, it's about making the knowledge work in your everyday life. So that is the Page of Pentacles, like I said. So now I'm going to move to the next card. And we have the Ace of Swords. Ooh, I like this. Okay, so now the Ace of Swords is a card that can represent a triumph, a victory, a success. I look at the crown here in the middle of the card with the laurel wreath around it, and so that can represent a crowning achievement. It can also be going with the idea, and I love how the cards are laid out, going with the idea here where I talked about the Seven of Cups being a card of dreams or visions, things of that nature. Then the Ace of Swords is a follow-up to that and saying, keep an open mind. So somebody may be watching this video and at this moment in time thinking that the topics of psychic visions and precognitive dreams may be a bunch of hogwash, a bunch of bunk, whatever the case may be. The Ace of Swords is encouraging to keep an open mind about that. So I'm just saying that's what the card means to me. So it's about keeping an open mind about that. If you have no problem, grasping that idea, grasping that concept, it may be relatively new to you, because just like the page, the Ace of Swords can represent something new. So it may be a relatively new concept, but you're keeping an open mind. If that's the case, then the Ace of Swords is asking you to kind of, especially with meditation, or what I said about the chakras, this card for me represents a crown chakra. So there may be somebody watching this and you may get a download of information through your crown chakra because you have kept an open mind. You're open and receptive to the guidance that Spirit would have for you. And that kind of helps prime the pump for that download. And you could get the download through either a dream state, you could get downloads that way, you can get a download through meditation, which were some of the aspects I talked about with the Seven of Cups. It could also be too, like if you are exploring the idea of chakra balancing or chakra clearing, it could be that you find that you may actually need to have your crown chakra, excuse me, cleared. You know, there, and so, or as a result of having that experience of having yourself balanced and cleared, then you may find that that opens you up and you get a download as a result of that. So I'm seeing that as a possibility. The Ace of Swords can also be if you find that the spiritual aspects that I've talked about are maybe just a little too woo-woo for you, then the Ace of Swords can represent getting an answer or a solution to a problem that we've been experiencing. It's about like having an aha moment, you know, just all of a sudden having a big idea or a great idea. It just seems like it came out of nowhere, that kind of energy. And then you're being asked to take action on that idea because swords are about action. It's a fast-moving suit in tarot, so for me it's very action-oriented. So it's just not about having the idea, but taking action on it. Kind of the same thing that I said here with the Page of Pentacles. It's about once you get the information or the head knowledge, it's about practically applying it to your life. Well, the Ace of Swords is the same thing. It's about taking action on that idea. So I'm seeing that. Now, for some people watching this video, it could be that with the Page of Pentacles can be about like learning something new pertaining to finances or material resources. And then if that's the case, then the Ace of Swords could be saying that somebody watching this video may be embarking on a job or career change, because that's another aspect I see with the Ace of Swords. So it could be like, if you are doing that, it might be because you are seeking an avenue to create more wealth in your life, a new avenue. You may already have an existing job and you may be exploring something else that's going to help you create more wealth in your life. So it could be the idea here of either a job or career change with the Ace of Swords. Taking a step back and asking, what else do I need to say about the Ace of Swords? Yes. Okay. So swords can represent a lifestyle change. So if it's not a job or career change, it could be like you are seeking clarity on one of the options. Could be a lifestyle change and you are seeking guidance or information or clarity about that. If that is the case, then the Ace of Swords saying you could get your big idea, you could get your aha moment, and then you are being encouraged to take action on that. Now, the Ace of Swords says that it could be a bumpy start as you're moving down this new path or new direction, and that's okay. Some people, when they hit a bump in life, they sometimes think that I've made a mistake, I'm going down the wrong way, I've made a wrong choice. With the Seven of Cups, you may be thinking I've chosen the wrong option. With the Ace of Swords, the speed bumps are just a part of the experience. Don't let the bumps deter you. Actually, since the Page of Pentacles is here next to the Ace of Swords, you could ask the question like, what is this speed bump here to teach me? What am I supposed to be learning from the bump? You know, it would be nice if we all moved through life without any challenges, without any obstacles, without anything coming up that we didn't see coming or we weren't prepared for or we didn't anticipate. But life is an experience where we learn from what goes well and what doesn't go so well. So going with that, so don't be deterred by the speed bumps. As a matter of fact, just let them inform you, going with the Ace of Swords being about information, let them inform you about a lesson that, again, you would need to learn and you wouldn't have learned any other way. So I'm stepping back and asking myself if that's all I need to say about the Ace of Swords. I'm feeling like that's it. So moving to the card that represents the end of the week, we have the Seven of Pentacles. Oh, this is nice. Okay, so we have 2 Pentacle cards on each side of the Ace of Swords. So that can be as an energy. It's about resources, it's about abundance, it's about values in terms of like our value system, and so moving in alignment with what we value, but also to checking in with our core value system. So I'm seeing that as a possibility with the Suit of Pentacles on each side. So the Seven of Pentacles is a card that can represent for me the results of the work and the energy that you put into it. It's about like hard work pays off. It's about reaping a harvest, that kind of energy. So again, the 7 is a number of personal insight and self-awareness. So we have the two sevens repeating. So this is a week possibly where we may be looking at ourselves internally, doing some inner work, and then seeing how the inner work that we're doing is manifesting itself in the outer. So I'm seeing like this, the energy is making me feel like this is going to be an inside job kind of week. But with the Seven of Pentacles, by the end of the week, we may see some sort of payoff, some sort of reward, some sort of benefit from the work that we have been doing, because I'm seeing this card as about like waiting for results. Something is growing and developing, and it's just a matter of, you know, reaping the harvest or reaping the benefit or reaping the rewards. Now, this is very interesting from a spiritual perspective, at least for my spiritual path. The page and the ace represent something new. So there is a spiritual principle of seed and harvest. So the page and the ace could represent the seed, and then the Seven of Pentacles is the harvest. So I'm seeing that as a possibility. So again, just feeding into the whole idea about like reaping a harvest. So this represents the universal law of sowing and reaping. So at the end of the week, you know, whether you are a big believer in the law of attraction, because that's just what's popping into my mind, the law of attraction. At the end of the week, you're being encouraged to look at what it is that you have been manifesting, what's been showing up in your life, what's been producing in your life, because it's asking you to take a look at it, especially if you're challenged with the idea of what's showing up. If you find that what is showing up for you, you don't like, you don't want, that kind of energy, then it's a matter of taking a look at what the seeds you're sowing. It's about taking a look at that. It's like operating on the idea of cause and effect. So the effect is what's manifesting, and then if you want to change the effect, you have to take a look at the cause and seeing if the cause is, you know, a thought, a prevailing thought that needs to be changed, a prevailing feeling that needs to be changed, something of that nature. So I'm seeing that as a possibility. So if you're not liking the effects, it's time to take a look at the cause. It could also be, too, making this a little more practical, going with the Pentacles, that this is a time at the end of the week where we're going to be doing some kind of evaluation process. And with that, it's about doing an assessment. So you're taking a look at your life and you're assessing things, and you're looking at based on like the return on your investment. That's like a very business principle, but that's what's popping into my head. So it's about like doing an ROI and seeing if what the return on your investments are. And since we're talking about Pentacles, investments can be time, energy, resources. So just basically keep that in mind. And are you getting a return for the amount of time, energy, and resources that you're putting into a situation? You know, and if you're not getting a return that you think is equitable, then you may need to take a look at why are you continuing to invest time, energy, and resources into that particular thing, or going about it the way that you're going about it. It would just say that something needs to change if you're not happy with the end result. So, but now I'm hearing a song in my head, so I'm going to date myself. It's an old Pet Shop Boys song, so I don't know how many people know the Pet Shop Boys. It seems to be like my taste in music is very, very out there and not that mainstream or popular. But there was a song called Was It Worth It? So that's the song that's playing in my head. So you may be looking in your process of evaluation and assessing things, you may be asking yourself, was it worth it? That may be the question you want to ask yourself. Was it worth it? Was the return that I got worth the investment of my time, energy, and resources? So I'm seeing that. Now, from a practical standpoint, again, because I talked with the Seven of Cups about the idea here about chakra balancing or realignment and clearing, then the Seven of Pentacles is a card that could suggest from a health standpoint. And at this point, I have to put in my disclaimer. I am not a medical professional of any kind, so I can't diagnose or give you any kind of prognosis, anything like that, because I'm not a doctor. But this card could be for somebody from a health standpoint. Could be like you may find yourself wanting to have some tests done, and then you'll have to wait for the results. And I will share a personal experience to say why I'm saying that. So 12 years ago, I had Bell's palsy, which is facial nerve paralysis. And while I was working with my cards, the Seven of Pentacles was a card that really helped me through that. And it showed up every time that I had to have blood work done, or go have some test done that involves some sort of lab work. So the Seven of Pentacles. So when I'm seeing this card here, and we're talking about it from a health standpoint, it could be like somebody's going to have some lab work done, or some blood work done, or they're going to have a test, and they have to wait for the results, because each time that I went and I had these types of tests done, I had to wait for the results. So it could be like either A, you're going to find yourself needing to have a test done and you're going to have to wait for the results, and with that it may involve some either lab work or blood work, or B, you've already had the test done and then at the end of the week you get the results from the test. So I'm couching it that way. It could just be a matter of waiting for the results. Again, that's one of my meanings for the Seven of Pentacles. So if the health aspect doesn't fit you, then it could just be a matter of you waiting for some result by the end of the week. So that is my take on the Seven of Pentacles, and this rounds out our cards for the week. So now what we'll do is we'll shift gears and we'll take a look to see what the overall major arcana card that's going to serve as the overall lesson for the week. And I realized that I was about to embark on seeing what the lesson card is without taking a moment to check in and pull a message card for the Page of Pentacles, because one of the things I said was that the Page of Pentacles can represent news or messages. So I'm going to do that. I'm pulling another card right from the top of the deck, and the card is this is so funny. The card is the Ace of Pentacles. So the Ace of Pentacles is exactly just like the Page of Pentacles in the fact that it can represent a new phase or a new chapter in terms of a material experience. So sometimes this card can be read simply as, you know, money coming in or experiencing some kind of windfall. I tend to look at it as an idea of being open, because here we have a gate that's opening up. So it's about being open to a new experience in terms of abundance and prosperity, and that would be symbolized by the pentacle in the air. So it could be things are opening up, so it could be an opportunities being presented, again going with the idea that gates can represent doors, and when the doors open it could be symbolic of an opportunity. So I'm seeing that as an opportunity could be coming to some of us this week at the beginning of the week, because that's where the news or messages is. That could be helpful in creating a sense of more abundance and prosperity in our lives. So I'm seeing that, and here that would make sense. Here I'm looking at the card again, and there's a path, so it could be like you know, embarking on a path, a new path. It could also be if it's not about a sense of abundance from a financial perspective, meaning money, then it could be like we're just embarking on a path, and the path is opening us up to a new way of being in the world, because pentacles can represent being, you know, in the sense of like the physical form. So I'm getting a sense of like being in the world. So it could be, again, opening up something, and with that, the path opening up, that's going to be rewarding, because the Ace of Pentacles can represent something that we find rewarding, and the Ace being the number one can represent rewarding on an individual level, or, you know, it's designed for, you know, for the self. So I'm seeing that as possibilities. Again, the Ace of Pentacles represent, you know, a new form of abundance coming in, you know, looking at prosperity in a new way, being open to a new opportunity, and with that it could be a commercial venture, or, you know, if somebody has an actual physical business, it could be like maybe either opening one up, going with the gates being open, either opening one up or going through grand reopening. I'm seeing like grand opening or grand reopening ribbons in my head, you know, that hang in front of stores. So I'm seeing that. So it could just be like either, you know, starting something or re-engaging in something and getting that off the ground. And I'm seeing that with the pentacle being off the ground. So getting something off the ground. It could also just be, again, embarking on a path where you are getting in touch more with the sense of who you are and what you're doing in the world, that sense of being. So again, the Ace of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles share the same thing. So it's very interesting that we have a new phase in the material world with another card that represents the same exact message. So I'm seeing that as a message card. And so now we'll go ahead and shift to looking at what the overall lesson card from the Major Arcana is this week. And now taking a look at the numbers on the cards, not counting the Seven of Cups or the Ace of Pentacles. We're going to be looking at it from the perspective of the 3 main cards for the reading for the week. So pages with the Page of Pentacles for me are valued at 11. So we have 11, and then we have the Ace, which is 1. So 11 and 1 is 12. And then with the Seven of Pentacles, so 12 and 7 is 19. And the 19th major arcana card in the deck is the Sun card. So here's the card. I'll put it right here over the Ace of Swords. So now the Sun card for me is the best card in the deck. And for me, it can represent illumination. So it could be like things are being illuminated. So again, going with the idea here that the Ace of Swords underneath it represents clarity. So there could be, again, that idea about things clearing up because the light of the sun illuminates everything. So I'm getting a huge sense of illumination with this. This card is also a success card. So it's about like a success, achievement being attained. And again, going with the whole idea here, Ace of Swords is saying the same thing. So we have the same message being carried over. So it could be about like achieving some kind of success. You know, and with that, the Sun card is about happiness, satisfaction, and fulfillment. So it could be like the end result, going with the payoff here with the Seven of Pentacles, could be that it brings us a greater sense of happiness, a greater sense of satisfaction, a greater sense of fulfillment. The other thing with the Sun card for me, it can be about, again, since we had a focus here on money with the Ace of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles, all these money cards, the Sun card can also be about achievement with money, some sort of monetary success. So again, we're having kind of similar messages with the cards, and I always look, as a reader, I always look for a message that repeats because it's saying I want to be acknowledged in terms of the message. I want to be acknowledged. So I'm seeing that as possibilities. The other thing with the Sun card, it could be making a shift in your energy, because this is about an energy shift. And with that, it could be bringing a greater sense of a positive outlook, because the sun brightens things up. So it could be about, like, you know, seeing things in your world brightened up. Because if you look at the card, and I don't know if you can actually see it, but around the sun card, or the sun object here in the center of the card, which actually has a rose in the middle of it, but around the sun are all the astrological glyphs. So here we have a sense of like the world and the universe, something that's much larger than ourselves. And it could be like we have a shift in the energy that we have been bringing to our world, so to speak. We're bringing an energetic shift, or that we have changed our outlook in the way that we've been looking at the world. And that's really hopeful and really helpful, given the things that are taking place in the world, you know. I know myself personally, over the last couple of weeks, I've been looking at the news and watching things unfold. And I have to admit, I fell into a space where I was like, you know, feeling like, oh my gosh, what is going on in the world these days, you know. And so I know that if I'm thinking that, or if I'm feeling that, I'm not alone in that. And so the Sun card is saying, like, it brings us all the opportunity, those of us who work with light and who work with energy, to kind of stand in together as a collective, you know, to stand and bring the light and hold the light and continue to have a positive outlook. Because another thing that I realized, and the angels helped me with this in the course of that experience, where I was watching the news, the message was, well, you're not seeing everything in the world. You're just watching the news for 30 minutes a day, and you're seeing a particular aspect or a particular slant or one side of what's going on in the world, and you're not seeing everything. You're not getting the whole picture, you know, going with the astrological glyphs around the sun. You're not getting the whole picture. You're getting parts of the picture. And yes, I'm not diminishing that in any way. Those parts that I was watching and I was seeing unfold were not very pleasant. But that's not the totality of things in the world, you know. So again, it's about like where you're going to put your energy and where you're going to put your focus. And so I was seeing that, going, well, like, what can I do in the space that I'm in with the resources that are available around me, with all the pentacles here representing resources. And one of the things that I was encouraged to do was to continue to see the brighter side of things, the lighter side of things. If I'm going to indulge in that and be informed, going with the swords about being informed, you know, it's nice to be informed, but don't let the information that you get color the entire experience, or you only just see it that one way. there are many ways to look at an experience, and so it's about like kind of like still be keeping on the bright side, still be hopeful, still be positive as you can be, you know, and still hold that space. And those of us who can do it need to do it for the ones who are not able to do it at this time for whatever reason. You know, I'm seeing the term like bringers of the light, so we have to be the bringers of the light. You know, that's what all of us are here for. You know, every one of us, and this is a term that's getting a lot of heat these days, but a lot of us who are watching videos like tarot readings and angel card readings and, you know, talking about chakras and balancing the chakras and clearing your chakras, you know, that's all about energy work and light work. And so, you know, the idea of being a light worker, like I said, is getting a lot of heat, pun intended, getting a lot of heat these days. But, you know, if we are going to identify ourselves as a light worker or do light work, then this is our opportunity to stand in that and stand in support of those who are not able to do that, to kind of help keep things imbalanced. So I'm seeing that as an idea here with the Sun card. Another thing going with the idea of clarity and bringing in the light, you know, an angel that can assist us with that is Archangel Uriel. Uriel is the angel of light, is the angel of clarity for me, is the angel who helps us deal with our psychological blocks, because he helped me when I was doing my undergrad and grad work for my psychology degrees, excuse me. He helped me with that when I was a student, helped me with that. So we could call upon Archangel Uriel to assist us in bringing in more light in these seemingly dark times. So I'm seeing that. Now, bringing that down just a little bit more, this could just be about us as individuals, because the Sun is number 19, and if you add the 1 and the 9, you get 10. But if you add the 10 and the 10 as 1 and 0, you get 1. So we have a lot of stuff here about the individual, going with the ones, with the aces that appeared, and the sevens. So there's a big emphasis on the individual. So it's about doing things from the inside out. I'm looking at this again as being an inside out kind of week. And so it's like, how can we as individuals bring more light? How can we be the ones who shift our own energy to something more positive? How can we, you know, look on the bright side of things? You know, how can we have a brighter outlook? How can we be the ones who, you know, radiate? You know, we have a different, you know, we radiate, you know, we bring our radiance, we bring our brilliance. You know, everybody has brilliance, so don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But how can we bring that sense of brilliance to what it is that we do and the people that we come in contact with? You know, the people who orbit, you know, as satellites orbit our universe, going with the astrological glyphs around here, you know. So how can we be the ones who offer that to people who may need that this week? So I'm seeing that again as an end note. I would say, like, the Sun is asking us to be able to radiate as best as we can, our personal best. You know, how can we be the best that we can be and bring that into every experience that we have this week? So, and it could also be going back to what I said about the Page of Pentacles and being the student and learning. It could be like everything that we are learning is helping us. And I'm seeing this quote from a man named Ralph Smart, who has a channel on YouTube called Infinite Waters Diving Deep. He says, how can you allow those experiences to help you become your greatest version? That's his tagline, becoming your greatest version. So this week, what is it that's going to be coming your way that's going to help you become your greatest version? And then how can you radiate that version out into your world? So I'm going to end it on that. And so that is going to bring this week's Oracle Outlook to a close. I am James Himm Mitchell, and as I sign off, I want to thank you for sharing this space here with me this week and joining me for this week's reading. And as I sign off, I'm wishing you a wonderful day. I'm wishing you a tarot-tastic week. And until we get together in the next video, take care.